Also brought us Dr. Oz and The Secret. We have to remember what this lady has done.
She has to be held accountable.
I forgive her, but I mean, cut the shit. The Secret is a particularly egregious offense.
What, you don't believe?
Oh, you don't believe?
You don't believe?
Believe?
I want to be rich. I am rich.
I imagine myself flying. I can fly. I will beat my wings until I take off.
Schoolgirl affectations and body movements. Like, okay, ready? Here it is. Like, okay. She raises herself off her chair. Like, I'm just really excited. I'm really excited about this. Okay.
You're so right.
Okay.
I'm going to tell you something. I'm going to tell you something you haven't heard yet.
Yeah.
I'm going to blow your mind.
Okay. Right, like that.
Right.
Joe Rogan and Megyn Kelly just took a sledgehammer to Oprah's meticulously maintained image, revealing the fractures beneath the queen of spiritual branding. Rogan unleashed biting humor on her feel-good guru empire while Megyn sliced through the glossy surface with surgical precision. From wellness, marketing, to staged authenticity, nothing was off limits. This wasn't just a critique, it was a stark reality check that left the media icon looking more like a brand ambassador than a guiding light. In the end, Joe demanded higher standards, and the takedown unforgettable.
Business of staying up on the news. She's reading undoubtedly from blue cards her staff gave her. That's how the Oprah Winfrey show was shot. Oprah didn't have to think of her own questions. It was all impromptu or on a blue card for Oprah. She doesn't know she's not making big news with this revelation. She said she'll sign the same shitty so-called border bill that they rejected the last time because it would let 5,000 illegals over the border a day.
It was confusing when that was taking hold with people. When I had friends that were telling me that The Secret is real and that they imagined they were going to fulfill these childhood dreams that they had about whatever, being a whatever it would be. But there's a couple people that I knew that were trying to tell me that The Secret was going to be the thing and that they had a vision board and they had photographs. They put pictures up of the things that they wanted, like them in front of large crowds and shit. I'm like, oh boy.
Them in front of large crowds.
This is so not how.
Joe Rogan didn't hesitate. The moment Oprah's name came up, he leaned into the mic like he was about to expose the secrets of a stage illusionist. Not the fun kind, but the corporate kind who's been selling enlightenment from a gold-plated platform for decades.
Sex podcaster instead. She
call the ambulance or whatever it's
the
called.
woman who was talking about
the daddy
how
about
to
the
use
ambulance.
dildos a week earlier.
Don't stop insulting.
See the Oprah interview?
No.
It's off the rails.
Yeah,
Off the rails.
I heard about it.
Into fucking wine mom country again.
Wow.
I'm a gun owner. Tim Walz is a gun. I know that. If somebody breaks in my house, they're getting shot.
Yes, I hear that.
Tim Dillon is the best. Tim Dillon's like, she's saying gypsy curses. What is she saying?
If you're enjoying this video, don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon. Joe kicked things off by targeting the absurdity of the self-help empire dressed in luxury branding. He described the Oprah phenomenon as the most successful cult. Never officially labeled one. She doesn't just recommend books, she sanctifies them. She doesn't interview guests, she elevates them. With Oprah's blessing, gravity itself seems to vanish.
Got to talk about the failure of the celebrity. Oprah Winfrey. You have no power. You do not have any control over this electorate. Neither do you, J-Lo. Let's take a look at Oprah's final closing message on the campaign trail.
We don't get to sit this one out.
He ridiculed Oprah's evolution from daytime talk host to a spiritual powerhouse, complete with $1 billion smile and a stable of gurus. Joe found the whole Enlightenment Force model laughable. You can have inner peace, but only after purchasing. The 14-part masterclass, the officially sanctioned incense, and a Sojourner-themed fleece throw. Want tranquility, sure, but it'll cost you, plus shipping and handling.
This is the best she can do, by the way. When they give her the talking points in advance, when they say, we're going to have a girl stand up, that poor girl who talks about her childhood sexual abuse. And what does Kamala do? Oprah, I don't know if you've heard this story, but you know when I was in high school, my best friend was being sexually abused by her stepfather. And I said, we've heard this story so many times, and it makes me crazy because she is using this poor woman's sexual abuse as a valorization of herself.
He tore apart the idea that Oprah built her empire by being relatable while transforming into a walking Pinterest board of aspirations. She speaks of struggle like she's still under fluorescent lights with a can of tuna, not sipping rare tea. In her 90 million palatial estate, Joe couldn't help but laugh at someone preaching simplicity while living in a home with more bathrooms than a football stadium.
Time Oprah had that lady on, his face bit off by the chimp, and she showed her face on TV.
Oh, yeah.
Miraculously, she survived just the unimaginable. Her name is Charla Nash. Charla almost always covers her face with the hat and scarf. She wears it, she says, because she doesn't want to scare people.
The lady was wearing a veil over her face, like, let's see your face. Come on. She pulls the veil away.
Like a note?
What are you doing?
Would you mind lifting the veil? Oh, so we can see. You could take the hat off. Oh, the hat comes off. Yep. Okay.
Then came Oprah's spiritual buffet, and Joe feasted on it. Her brand doesn't just deliver comforting wisdom, it packages it like sacred relics. Each episode was another sermon of self-worth, complete with dramatic lighting, soft chimes, and slow-mo. Tree hugs. Joe called it emotional fast food, looks great, feels nice, delivers nothing. He mocked the contradictions, preaching gratitude while plastering her name across luxury aisles. Preaching humility while operating a brand large enough to float over the Macy's parade. He imagined Oprah's team as a squad of lighting wizards, crystal consultants, and sound therapists working overtime to make basic advice sound like scripture. Joe summed it up perfectly. Her show wasn't therapy, it was therapy-themed entertainment. Meanwhile, Megyn Kelly came in with no punchlines, just precision strikes.
Insulted. My intelligence is insulted. I'm bored by you. I'm offended by you. And you know, the thing is, it almost makes me think of Oprah. So Oprah actually was full of profundities when she did that show. You know, I realize I have different feelings about her today too, when she's gone political. But back in the day, you know, when I was young in law school and you turn on the Oprah Winfrey show, you would hear something that would give you, oh, that's good. That's good. Like something, she's the one we got aha moment from. You know, she had these little catchphrases where you're like, oh yeah, that's something to think about. And her team would set it to music, you know, and they'd slow down the interaction. They put in slow-mo, like her hug with a fire.
Megyn began by challenging the myth of Oprah as the people's voice. She questioned how someone who hasn't flown commercial in years, hasn't set foot in a grocery store without a camera crew, and hasn't faced real scrutiny in decades can possibly relate to average Americans. Oprah Megyn argued stopped being a mirror for her audience and became a reflection of their fantasies. Not who they are, but who they're told to aspire to be. She also called out Oprah's choreographed activism. Her concern for causes often arrives with sweeping music and drone footage of her estate. Megyn didn't hold back Oprah's compassion. She argued sometimes looks more like PR strategy than true empathy. Speaking endlessly about equality while living a life far removed from it, that's not leadership. Real leadership, Megyn said, means stepping into discomfort, not hosting rehearsed conversations in a perfectly lit sitting room. She didn't say Oprah was out of touch, she showed it.
Laughing is so, like, Oprah's pretending to laugh. And by the way, can I just say, I'll let you finish your point on the gun, but the Oprah affect is done. It's so over. Her fake, like, I did not know that, right? Like she's leaning into this, like, homegirl, like, what? I learned something. And her yelling, she yelled at us all night. Oprah was yelling. I'll show it to you in a second. You take up the...
Next, Megyn targeted Oprah's business empire, the part few dare to question. Oprah turned motivation into an industry. Every book she endorses, every product she features, every guru she platforms becomes a goldmine. And Megyn posed the uncomfortable question, is it still about helping people or just protecting the brand? She deconstructed the Oprah Book Club with the precision of a legal analyst. To her, it resembled a one-woman monopoly on literary credibility. If Oprah likes your book, you're canonized. If not, you vanish. That's not empowerment, it's empire control dressed as encouragement. Megyn showed how it's less about literature and more about market dominance. Oprah's brand of moral authority, wrapped in soft lighting and teary-eyed segments, rarely tolerates dissent, no tough questions, no critical dialogue, and that Megyn declared is dangerous. When public figures reach deity status, they stop evolving. They start performing.
They boiled it down to the easiest one, which is dreaming.
Right, exactly.
And that's why it's sold. But Oprah sold it. I mean, she was one of the big ones, man. And she was all in. She was fucking 50 years old at the time. I mean, this is not a young woman who is selling this. How old is Oprah now?
75?
89?
Joe wasn't finished. He called out Oprah's habit of platforming pseudo-experts who offer inner peace in 4 easy payments. He joked that Oprah's show became a gateway drug to pop psychology where deep trauma gets cured between a couch session, a breathing exercise, and a commercial break. He rolled his eyes at her Emotion Over Facts Empire emotional books, emotional guests, emotional breakdowns, but little in the way of real-world solutions. Joe likened it to handing someone a scented candle while their house is burning down. He didn't spare her politics either. The notion of Oprah playing kingmaker during elections, he found it absurd. The woman who once gave away cars now treats endorsements like divine decrees. Joe mocked the idea of a billionaire instructing working-class voters while living a life miles away from their reality. Her endorsements weren't about values, they were about maintaining the narrative. Megyn returned to the silence, the things Oprah doesn't say. For someone so vocal about justice, she goes notably quiet when a cause doesn't suit her image. According to Megyn, real integrity is shown when no one's watching. Oprah only speaks when the optics are flawless. She exposed the every woman persona as carefully engineered. You don't rise that far without becoming the very institution you claim to challenge.
To love Oprah, like most of us who grew up when we did. And only now did I realize I've been getting spoon-fed propaganda from this woman for years. I always took her little setup packages as gospel. You know, before I was a reporter, I never even thought to question whether Oprah might be intentionally misleading me. Then last night, the dawn came and I was like, oh my God, she is not a reporter. She's a propagandist. She's trying to shove messaging down my throat of whatever.
With cold precision, Megyn stripped the illusion. She argued that Oprah helped create a culture where feelings are facts and affirmation is action. A generation raised on comfort quotes and glossy self-reflection where responsibility is always outsourced. The Oprah effect, Megyn said, isn't about empowerment, it's emotional indulgence wrapped as wisdom. Joe followed up by tearing into Oprah's place in diet culture. He pointed out the irony of someone publicly battling weight for decades morphing into a wellness expert. One year, it's diet, pills the next, it's self-love. Joe likened Oprah's body journey to a reality show, each season ending with a book deal and a standing ovation. He mocked the contradictions, be your true self, but only after 20 reinventions. Love your body, but subscribe to this fix-it plan. Joe called it selling freedom while tightening the leash. The kicker, people still buy it. Megyn didn't laugh. She focused on the damage, the confusion, the double standards. Oprah's advice becomes gospel, and when that guidance is inconsistent or flawed, it doesn't just miss, it misleads. Influence without accountability, Megyn warned, is dangerous.
There was a story I was reading about Oprah, unfortunately, where this woman had terminal cancer.
Hey.
And she had stage 3 breast cancer and just decided that through The Secret, she was going to imagine herself a healthy person.
Yeah.
And then, she eventually wound up dying from it because she didn't get treatment.
And Oprah, shielded by her fame, rarely has to answer for the missteps or contradictions. No public reckoning, no apology tour. Just a new product, a new narrative, a new chapter. Joe closed with one last jab. He imagined a future where Oprah retires, and the entire self-help world crumbles like a shrine with no soul. In his eyes, Oprah is the cornerstone. Without her, 1,000 wannabe life coaches would be left wandering without a script or a booking agent. But Megyn wasn't out for destruction. She clarified this wasn't about tearing Oprah down. It was about clearing the fog, removing the filters, and seeing media messiahs for what they are: flawed people with unchecked influence. Together, Joe and Megyn didn't just roast Oprah, they peeled back the branding, the contradictions, and the illusion of moral clarity. Not out of spite, but from frustration with a culture that mistakes applause for truth and fame for wisdom. As they spoke, the spotlight dimmed, the myth cracked. Somewhere in the heart of the empire, the script stopped sounding sacred because two voices chose not to play along. Joe leaned in again, this time mocking Oprah's influencer legacy. He laughed at the rise of ring light gurus mimicking Oprah with their breathy pauses and #enlightenment. He called it Oprah's funniest unintentional legacy, the cult of curated vulnerability. Everyone now a life coach latte in hand with a childhood wound and a podcast. Megyn circled back, targeting Oprah's latest project, authenticity as content. She questioned how something real could be scheduled, edited, and scored with mood music. She painted the picture Oprah walking her garden camera crew in tow, philosophizing about presence while a sound guy cues birdsong. It wasn't raw, it was rehearsed relatability, a performance masked as insight. And the public, they're starting to notice. Joe nodded. People aren't just buying anymore, they're questioning. And what they're finding behind the velvet curtain might not be truth, just expertly placed stage lights.